Welcome to the March meeting of the, February meeting. Skipped ahead there. You can see the Floridian hoping it was March. Welcome to the February meeting of the Commission on Aging. Thanks for everybody coming. We'll start first with our discussion of our January minutes. Any questions, changes, suggestions? Hearing none, can I have a motion to approve? Thank you. A second? Thank you very much. As approved. We'll head over to Beth for the Mather Center report.
Okay, I'm going to be brief, but I want to actually highlight things that are going on in March because the February minutes will speak for themselves of everything that's happened in February. But we've gotten some great opportunities. One is from the National Institute of Health. We were sought out by them and our CDC to hold a pre-diabetic type 2 class, which normally costs it's like $674 for the tuition. If we get at least 10 students by grant, it's free. So Channel 79, I have 5 people signed up. There is a questionnaire for it. This is a doctor from the National Institute of Health who will be coming to the center every Friday, starting March 15th, to run this hour class as a prevention program. So it's wonderful for us, and he'll do more than 20 people, but he has to have a minimum of 10. So this came to us short notice, so that's why I kind of wanted to advertise it. Awesome. And you have to see me I'll do the questionnaire with you, because we have to score a certain score in order for you to qualify to take the class. Also, we have a personal stretch lab of New Canaan's coming to do free stretching evaluations on March 11th. It's going to be upstairs in the room next to the exercise class from 9:15 to 1. It's going to be an evaluative class, completely free. If that works out, we might be able to do it with them more than just maybe once every 4 times a year, which is another exciting program that's just been offered. I can't take credit for these. These have just come up to us, and I just said yes. We're also going to be Sound Direction Drumming Circle for meditation and for stress management. If this works, we're going to try to have this at least once a month if it works, but we are looking for 20 people to participate in it as kind of a little focus group. The gentleman who's doing it is he's a therapeutic drummer, and he owns a place called Health Rhythm, and he facilitates these. So he brings the drums with him. It should be great fun as well, but it actually is for cardiac health and for stress relief. So we're very excited about those things. And also the Center for Vein Restoration also approached us, and they're going to do a seminar on the causes and symptoms of vein insufficiencies. But if that takes off and he gets enough interest, they will actually come in and do free health assessments with the Doppler that they run on your leg for you to get a baseline at least of how healthy the circulation is in your legs. And as we know, that's very important as we get older because it's really the main cause of either embolisms in the lungs or strokes. So we're very happy and excited that all these things have come our way, but it's just been bustling to get it all up. So I'm happy to have this opportunity. And I sent a picture to the Hall Town Hall for the belly dancer. Had the biggest crowd that we've had.
Funny how that worked out there.
The chef did a remarkable Moroccan, Israeli, and Turkish meal. So
Wow.
It was, and she did all of the, and that gal did all of that kind of belly dancing, including the 7 veils. So, and so we are looking forward to St. Patrick's Day. We have 2 amazing entertainers, brand new to us. All the schools were busy this year, so he's an Irish tenor, but there's all kinds of instruments that they're bringing too, and she's doing traditional corned beef and cabbage. There will be a limit of people, so we're asking people as soon as this goes out, our newsletter will go out next week, to sign up as soon as possible for that, so that we're at capacity and people get to enjoy that too. So,
Any questions for Beth? Hearing none, thanks so much. Moving on to Human Services report, Allie.
Okay, good morning. Not that much new to report, but I did attend the Housing Authority meeting on January 22nd to inquire about the waiting list and the procedure, how it will go forward for Old Town Hall homes. The answer was that they have not made a determination how they're going to do it. Is it going to be a lottery or what? But that they will not do it until there's more progress. Well, they haven't even demolished it yet, but once the progress and the construction is being made, then they'll open the waiting list. And they will have a website Old Town Hall Homes website, which will have the procedure once they establish it, and the application when it's all set. They did promise that obviously the returning residents will be given priority, and they did say that they have a wait list already that's been in existence, and those people will be given priority after the returning residents.
Yeah.
So I know there are some people that are very eager and have been on it for a while, Darien residents who are eager to get in there when it's built.
And 2 have passed away.
Yeah, there's only 16 residents now that will be returning. A couple of them passed away, and then one moved to nursing home, moved with family, and whatnot. So,
Right.
we shall see.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for staying on top of that, especially because making sure that waiting list is preserved
Well, that's
is
the
a
biggest
huge issue. Yeah.
Absolutely, that's the main reason I went.
Maybe we should have Joe back in about 2 months or a month.
Yeah, good idea.
You know?
Yeah,
Maybe once they start the
Because I-
demolition.
That's what I want to wait. I want to see the demolition when I drive by there on the post road, and then I'm going to put a phone call into them.
Well, it's really delayed. There are some problems.
But I'm not sure we can do anything about that.
No, we can't.
It has to
but,
do with the construction
but it'd be nice
company.
to get an update from him. But there is a delay. I know that. So-
But I don't want to tax other people's time until there's a real
Yeah,
update.
right,
You
you're
follow
right.
me? Him
Yeah.
telling us, yeah, we haven't demolished because there's a delay is not a good use of his time.
No, you're
so
right.
Yeah.
I want to wait until we actually get the demolition done,
Yeah.
and then say, okay, we see it's flat. What's going to happen next? I mean, I think that's a good way of using his time, and
Yeah.
hopefully, because I definitely don't want. And we'll get to that in a second. When we bring in other folks, I want to make sure that we're actually using their time in a valuable fashion. Cool. Thank you very much. Any questions for Ally? Hearing none, I will move on to our main topic of today to thank Tony Hamicki and Millie Milan for coming today to
Good to be
talk.
here, Joe.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Absolutely. And talking about use of great people's time, this is it. And this is, as you know, our commission has been active in trying to push for senior property tax relief. And we also know that there's a program for disabled veterans as well. And we had started some talks with our effective sub-chair on this, Mary, on the question of where we are now, what can we do, because the number one issue shown by At Home in Darien with their survey was tax relief for seniors. And so recognizing that our goal is to be an advocacy group for seniors, hence we're back to tax relief. And the question to start with, though, is where are we now? What's the town doing? What's the state doing? And how can we make an impact? And hence, I'm turning it over to you.
And we've made copies. Millie and I have made copies of a 4-page pass-out. The front page is the critical page, anyway, between the months of February and May. We mail out applications to seniors that are existing property owners annually. This front page will refer to the town, the state and the town benefits. The credit program has a cap income, including Social Security and the adjusted gross income that's on the front page of the federal tax returns at $45,000 for a single and $52,900 for a married couple. We also have the opportunity to have taxpayers defer their property taxes, and Millie will touch on that a little bit differently. That has a deferral option cap for a single at $65,000 and then $72,900. Just to give you the overview, the second page on the back of that first page is the history of the tax relief programs that we've had. We went back to 2006 up to 2017. You'll see on the first columns that the state program, the middle of the sector is the local program, and the deferral program. I referenced each category because we peaked out, what is it, in 2012, I guess? No, yeah, 2012 with 133 applicants for the state program. And then in the late, I think it was 09 and 10, we modified the criteria based on the income categories that came through, and then we enhanced it with the local program, and you'll see that the total tax credit of the local program is now at $359,000, where the state program grant was at $47,181. That, in fact, disappeared last year. It was the state of Connecticut that just got rid of that. We had budgeted, assuming we would have close to $50,000 or $60,000, if not more, for the state credit program, and we don't see that on the horizon as of today. that communication will occur between us and our leadership at the legislative office building. It's actually triggered in through the Connecticut Conference of Municipalities. Then the third section is a deferral, where we have two choices, a Plan A and Plan B, that we'll touch on a little bit. The local credit program, on average, of these 118 taxpayers, the average is just over $3,000 of property tax relief that we're giving the local applicant. The third page compares the income levels from 2011 up to 2018. Really championed this, just think it was interesting to see the slight amount of change that's occurred over the past period of time in the last 7 or 8 years. And you'll see that the local program was at married couples at 48.5, and now the local program's at 52.9. You might say that's not much of an increase at all, but when it comes into categories and the way it's reviewed by our department, shared with you, continues over to the Board of Finance and then to the Board of Selectmen. It's just something we wanted to bring your attention. We don't know if it's enough. And then the last page just gives you an overview. We didn't mean to confuse it with the codes on the left side, but there are specific codes based on the type of veteran. Regular veteran, a surviving spouse veteran, and a surviving spouse disabled veteran. There's different categories, different exemptions, different dollar amounts. Towards the right side, you'll see the 17, the 4, the 28, and the 3. Those are different categories of people that are getting the additional veteran exemption that you championed not too long ago. So, Millie, do you want to focus on anything in specific on each page, or?
No, I think this pretty much summarizes everything. On the deferral side, those people that qualify for any town credit will be able to defer the balance on the taxes up to 98%. So they will have to pay just 2% of their yearly tax amount. And those are for the ones that do qualify for any tax credit. For those that don't, but they still meet the income limits for the deferral option, they are able to defer 50% of their taxes. So there is an option for that. The interest rates are very low. Like in 2017, it was 1.84% for Plan A and 2.34% for Plan B, which is, I think, a great option for those that are struggling. They just have some.
So just so I understand it, I see for 2017, looking at the local program, of the 118 people who got the tax credit, did they also were also part of the 15 who got the deferral, or are those separate categories? In other words, are we talking about a total of 133 people, or is there some mixture together?
So the 118 is the total, 15 of them.
15 of them?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, got it.
11 are Plan A and 4 Plan B.
Got it. So why do you think there are so few on the deferral side? Have you thought of any? In other words, I guess my question would be, is there any way of bumping that up? In other words, the deferral is so valuable to be able to defer that.
It's the lien.
It's the lien. It's the lien on the
When
property.
they hear the lien, there's a lien put on their property the year after.
Right.
That's what.
We've had a couple people come back that were on the deferral program and their children wanted to pay it back prior to mom and dad feeling ill or relocating out of state. So we've had to go back and revisit the deferral with the tax collector, see what year it was triggered in and what interest rates per year would apply to the benefit that they were getting.
So even the children have a problem with the lien.
Yeah, they just don't want the lien. They don't want to inherit that type of a burden whenever mom and dad relocate or move on. So, and we've tried to present it as much exposure as we can through our website. I mentioned it when I met with the Chamber of Commerce when we talked about the revaluation last year, and we were discussing that with the Board of Realtors. I raised that at the time. So I'm not sure how to expose it anymore, and I'll welcome any comments or thoughts you might have. We do an annual mailing. 2 or 3 years ago, we did the annual mailing using the Register of Voters, because they're about the only central database that has the birth dates for each and every homeowner. And to that effort, which was a mailing of several hundred homeowners, even more, we got very few additional applicants.
Do you think people understand the economics?
I do. When the calls come in, we're pretty thorough, very complete. We've spent a lot of time trying to present this properly.
I mean,
The
if
deferral
nothing
program.
else, couldn't you just set aside an annual number that covers whatever your percentage is as a homeowner? Just to me, it's a no-brainer. I just
Well, I think the problem that people are concerned about the lien is that the state allows for people, or they used to buy liens on properties. This was happening elsewhere where, an older person may have had a lien and somebody comes in and buys the tax lien and they throw them out of their house. And I think the fact that the state would trump local municipalities, to excuse the pun, but that they could, they have priority, or whatever you call it, they have the authority to override maybe what the municipality would do, and I think that would be a concern, having a lien.
Have we ever had that in Darien where anybody's?
Not that I'm aware of, but I'll check Kathy Larkins, our tax collector, to see what that.
I know that the town says we don't sell liens, we don't do that, but the state could, force it.
There's some
maybe.
exposure there at some capacity.
That I would think.
Well, obviously.
There used to be.
Well, this is the issue. I mean, in other words, there is information out there which seniors clearly are hearing relating to liens and the possibility of being thrown out of their home or things of that nature for whatever reason. And so that's why we're seeing only 15 people participating in a program which I would gladly participate in if you would allow a 54-year-old middle-aged male to do so. But we can't do it because, obviously the town doesn't want to give breaks like that. But at the same time, you get it. I mean, the lien has always been a huge issue since we've been looking at this, is that people don't want that lien on their home. And so the next question is, I'm tired of banging my head against the wall on the lien question, okay? In other words, we've talked about it, and you can see the numbers, okay? We've gone from 6 to 15. It's not worth fighting over, okay? The lien is going to be there. It's the only way the town can protect itself, okay? So the question is, I'd rather our commission focus on the credit. In other words, the credit actually has real numbers where people are taking advantage of it. And so and I know there's a huge problem right now, which Tony just talked about, which is that $47,000 amount from the state in 2017 became zero in 2018. The town picked it up.
That's right.
And so now the question is for 2019, is the town going to pick it up again? And given all of the gnashing of teeth going on in Hartford and what they might impose as far as teacher pensions and things of that nature, that might be a stickier wicket. So have you heard anything relating to the town's willingness to kick in on the tax credit for 2019?
I approached the issue with our finance director, Jen, and Kate Bush, and it's still work in progress. So we'll see where the governor's message is today, see how it imposes across the board with the state budget. There's a new governor. And like I said, the Council of Small Towns and the Connecticut Conference of Municipalities, they've got it on the radar.
What happens if the town says no, it's zero? What does that mean?
The only town that I know that did it that way was Shelton, Connecticut, where the mayor there, the first selectman, just decided to send letters out to each and every person that was getting the benefit, and they accepted the application, but they negated it when the tax bill actually went out.
Wow.
So that was quite an awakening at that town, and there was a little bit of a challenge with the Secretary of Office Policy Management at that time. So that was the only one that had the guts to the fortitude to go up against the state.
So I guess at a bare minimum, the question would be how we can be helpful to start with relating to this $47,000 figure, whatever it turns out.
I'll do a little more fact finding, and by your next meeting, we should know where the wheels are rolling.
Perfect. Okay, that would be my first. I've been dominating the airwaves. Other questions for either Tony or Millie relating to these numbers? I would say that we will put these in our minutes, so anybody watching this on TV 79, you will eventually be able to see this document in our minutes, so you can review it yourselves. And I know you guys' phone numbers on the web and in the book, so you can certainly call these guys.
Has there been any public exposure, like, for example, article in the Darien Times on the subject?
We could talk a little more about some of the media that could be exchanged, I think.
It's in the newsletter,
It's in the
of course,
newsletter,
but
yeah.
the Darien Times
Yeah.
would be another
That would be another
good
option.
resource.
In other words,
I'll make it
right,
clear.
which would be important to take it out, especially since you say it's children are now getting involved, and it might be good to surface the issue in surface the opportunity in a broader arena. For example, get it in the newspaper and maybe begin a dialogue and let people understand that there's real value to doing this.
Especially with the deferral program.
Oh, absolutely.
It's a lot of benefit.
Absolutely.
Well, the other problem with, I think, with the lien is, that people might consider is if they wanted taking home equity loan out, they may not be able to get a home equity loan because there's a lien on the property.
We've had a couple of situations where they've had to repay to take the equity.
Yeah, you have to pay off the loan to, the lien
I've
to
got
pay,
those.
yeah.
Okay, we'll follow up with the Times. It's a really good idea. We'll work out any other exposure we get.
Tony, the state levels are different than the town levels for income qualification.
Statewide, it's reviewed annually,
Right.
and it's been modified very small. Our ratios, I think, are in concert with whatever the state is, so we just sort of follow that and add whatever our guidelines are to that.
Right, and I'm just wondering without the state contribution, it's a moot point because the levels are no longer, there's no calculation.
That's just the way the statute's written.
So if it rolls into the town of Darien, are we using the 45 and 52 or for that particular, or are we still calculating based on the state's calculation? And
Yes,
has there been any discussion of possibly rolling that into the town calculation?
if there hasn't been, but that's something we'll also.
Because that would make a difference in terms of the bottom line, I think. There'd be an increase there without any adjustments, if you get my drift.
Yeah, I think there was a proposal through the Finance Revenue and Bonding Committee at the legislature, and I'll have to follow up some of the details on where that, their draft proposals now more conceptual that come out of committee that I've noticed. I was active with the legislative committee with the Connecticut Assessors Association for over a decade. So I'll research that a little further and see if the statute is going to recognize the withdrawal of funds from the state.
Right. And perhaps that's an easy way to increase the net of people to get further relief without actually changing our levels.
Yeah, this time next year, we might want to revisit the whole program and see if it's assisting anyway, especially if we can identify income categories. Meaning those people, lower categories of income, maybe that has to be revisited versus those that are capping out closer to the $60,000.
And especially because this program is already currently active for 2019.
Yes.
Right. So we are really targeting probably the fall of 2019, heading for recodification of this for 2020. Am I accurate on that?
That's exactly right.
So I think in the short term, the question is maintaining what the town is doing to offset what the state is doing. And on the longer term, the question is, and we've done this in the past, a question of comparison of like-sided towns, New Canaan, Greenwich, other places, as to what their town limits are vis-a-vis what ours is, and is it equitable for the town of Darien? And of course, all of this is going to be effectively thrown into the hopper with what's going on with the state right now.
The state clearly is not funding that.
Well, I'm saying on the whole other budgetary items. What else they're coming to the town for?
Sure, what else
right?
can we do to enhance the program at the local level?
Yeah, but also I can see the politics of this. Well, the state is also throwing teacher pensions at us. The state is also throwing out, come on, Pankowski, you're killing us. So at the end of the day, the question is going to be politically, how do we move this forward with a strong argument relating to the tax numbers vis-a-vis other towns and making sure Darien matches them, at least. Okay. Other questions? Comments?
I
Go
think in the
for it.
past, Millie, you were able to give me the list of people who, is it public information? Not that it's advertised, but the people who've qualified, because a lot of them probably are eligible for Medicare Savings Program, energy assistance, and they might not know. I think we've looked before, and many of them already participated in our programs, but it'd be good for us to reach out to them.
It's a great idea. I mean, let's make sure that these folks who already are qualifying as low-income seniors get whatever else they're entitled to.
Yeah.
They could certainly use it.
Absolutely.
And as we've discussed ad nauseum on this commission, trying to figure out how to keep these folks in their homes, to keep our taxes lower, and that's a win-win for everybody. It's a huge deal.
So any bit will help.
Yeah, absolutely. Great. Hearing no other questions, can you come back to us next month to tell us where we are on that? Love to keep hearing from you, just because I think that right now is a critical issue relating to that state and the town covering that state loss of things. And so how we can help, and if something happens in between now and March 20th, which is our next meeting, let me know that as well, as far as, did I say that right? Yep, March 20th. So, and we'll certainly send an email around to the rest of our commissioners if something is breaking that we need to do. Cool.
Thank you.
Thank you both for coming, really appreciate it. Great. And you're free to go, you're free to hang, whichever you prefer.
I'm gonna jump.
Okay, thanks so much.
Thank you all.
Thanks again for coming, really appreciate it. Great. I know that Gina is not here for an At-Home in Darien report, but I believe Jim may have something that can let us know what's going on there.
Yeah, thanks, Peter. And again, especially for our television audience, we really want to make sure we get this information out. Darien High School is going to be, every year they do a annual musical. They're doing Chicago this year. It'll be March 26th. Originally the date was March 20th. It's now March 26th. And what this is, seniors get to go the night before to the dress rehearsal for free. So we get them there. They don't have to deal with the crowds, and it's really a nice event for them. We did at home sponsored Oxford Elementary, had 44 handmade Valentines sent to seniors. And there's an intergenerational pen pal program now out of Tokenique Elementary School. And basically we give bags with pens and stuff to the seniors, and now they're collecting the letters that they get back from the seniors back to the pen pal. So that started officially on March. The next meeting with the kids will be March 11th, and they'll get their first reply, which is cool. Kind of neat. It keeps them connected. And then the biggest news for us is the 10th anniversary celebration, and this will be the first ever fundraiser that At Home in Darien has done, and that will be the evening of May 10th. It'll be at the Country Club of Darien, so save the date. We're doing an extended invitation starting today. It's already been out there, but we want to just make sure that it's well attended. It's just to dipping our toes in the water to figure out different ways to raise money, and that's it.
Thank you, Jim.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
So I want to just comment, I'm a pen pal for one of the fourth graders, and it was fun. It, give you a warm, fuzzy feeling to be able to respond, and it was easy because they came up with the form letter that they like certain things. What do you like? This kind of. So they were prompts to help a senior write, and it was fun.
Well, I think I think it really gives the kids a new relationship. It's great for the seniors, but it's important for the kids. I think it's having that relationship is really.
Yeah, and I do that a lot in my own job, actually.
Good.
I have 125 students I write to as part of my job, so it is really so important, like you say, to have that relationship with an adult, and the adult to kind of pass on some, information or words of wisdom. Yeah, it's very good. Thank you.
Especially from a pre-device era, these kids getting actual written something to hold in their hands,
right.
And they can practice writing and do things that may or may not be focused on anymore, and recognize the wisdom, to your point, that they can receive from seniors who have gone through these journeys, and make them recognize that, hey, it's not as bad as you may think at your age. It may get a lot better, and etc. We've all been there. Great, thank you. Old business. Peter.
Let me update you on a few things. On tax aid, got a frog in my voice. ARP tax aid continues at the Darien Library. It's been so busy that all of the slots have been filled. I think in the first 6 days, we've had more than 150 prepared. We're still taking walk-ins. And again, it's for everyone. It's not just for seniors. Au pairs, for example. If you're an au pair and you typically will owe between $100 and $150 in taxes, depending on what country you come from. Well, H&R Block or a tax preparer will charge hundreds of dollars. It takes about 20 minutes, and it's done for free. And so we get these young people in, and we help them out that way. So again, it's very important, it's very viable. In Hartford, we're very busy with ARP. Family medical leave is moving forward, which is a good thing. But again, there's a lot of push and shove on other programs. Again, defending programs like Alzheimer's programs and things like that. The budgets are very tight. And again, things are really up in the air at this point in time. So it's just a matter of paying attention to what's going on. ARP is also, I developed a whole series of brochures, which I think are really good for a community. Here's a book they just came out with, which is Making Room, Housing for a Changing America. It's a terrific publication. As is this one, an economic development workbook. In other words, having a town look at its economic development and seeing what might work for a town. Again, it ties into the livable community, which our town still has not decided to move ahead on. But again, some really great tools. Okay.
How do you get those?
You could just visit the ARP website, Ray.
Okay.
I can send you an email with a link to them. I can even let you borrow these.
Okay. Well, I just want to know for people to know how they could get them.
Right. For planning and zoning, for example, really important. They have people involved in housing. A really good resource. A couple of other things, if I might. Go for it. I was reminded by the Darien Historical Society this week that next year is our 200th anniversary as a town, and things are moving forward. Beginning to figure out how we're going to celebrate. And again, I had not remembered it or recalled it. And again, just to get the idea out and have folks think about it. Our commission should be thinking about it. I have no idea what we might or might not want to do, but it is going to be very, very significant. The Darien Historical Society also next month is going to be putting a new program which is called Over Here in Darien. It's about World War I. Oh, wow. And they have an incredible array of posters, for example, that they're going to put on display. So they're developing some programs that come next month that we can talk about. But again, another resource, not just for seniors, but for anyone in town, again, to build that intergenerational effort.
I know that Jamie on the 200th has formed a committee.
There is a committee on
that is doing all of that, and so we'll certainly keep tabs on it. Also should note, this is the 275th anniversary this year of the first settled minister at the First Congregational Church of Darien. So what's fascinating is that the history goes back much further than 200 years. In other words, people have been here since the 1600s, and actually much, much earlier if you include Native Americans. But nevertheless, it's fascinating to me that Darien finally got its town charter in 1820, and yet here we are, 275th anniversary. Now, why do I know that? I'm the church historian of the First Congregational Church, and we're doing a monthly thing, so I'll throw that out there. So in any event, the long story short is we'll definitely keep tabs on that, and whatever we can do to assist, absolutely. Whatever we can do to add, even better. Cool.
And then one other thing, which is from the Darien Library, and again, a reminder that there's going to be becoming a Dementia Friend training, March 26th at 7 o'clock. And again, the Darien Library has programs. The New Blue, which is Yale's first women's a cappella group, is going to perform at the Darien Library this Sunday at 5 o'clock. So again, a lot of programs, again, geared for subject matter of interest to seniors.
Absolutely. To let folks who are watching this on the internet or on TV 79, we're meeting on February 20th. So if you're watching this before the weekend of February 20th going forward, make sure you check it out. Absolutely. Very cool. Great. Anything else, Peter?
No.
Cool. Other old business. Other new business. Hearing none, may I have a motion to adjourn? Thank you. Second. We'll see everybody in March. Have a great day. Month.